We are here outside the UK.
The fuel industry, we will demand records.
Over the summer, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak made a number of announcements that brought into question the UK's commitment to climate action. He delayed the phase out of fossil fuel vehicles. He also delayed the phase out of gas boilers. Many people took these announcements around the phase out of gas vehicles and boilers, in addition to the fact that Rishi Sunak announced new offshore oil drilling in the North Sea, a nearly $10 billion project, as him not being serious about climate change and actually reversing a lot of the progress that the UK has made on climate.
The reaction to these changes was, for many people, quite negative, right? On the one hand, you have environmentalists and climate activists who know that the world is already behind meeting the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. You also have firms and businesses that were looking at those rules and said, this gives us certainty, we're going to invest against it. What we saw here, I think, is policymakers trying to make modifications that afforded consumers a little more choice, that reduced the costs imposed, but at the same time didn't sacrifice the long-term vision.
Now, while I think a lot of this pushback was justified and understandable, what Rishi Sunak said and the way that he justified these actions, I think we also have to pay close attention to. He said that the country had stumbled into a consensus that nobody was happy with.
One of the challenges of making climate policy is you need to build these big, sometimes interested coalitions, and when the policies don't work out, those coalitions have to get disappointed. And one thing I think is really interesting from what we've seen in the UK over the past few months is how political leaders can kind of make changes, make adjustments over time, and at the same time keeps us focused on the long-term view, which is a net zero economy by mid-century.
In 2019, the UK was the first G7 nation to commit to net zero by 2050. This was a very big deal. Then in 2021, the UK hosted COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland. Again, this was an opportunity for the UK to stand out as a climate leader in the developed world. There are a number of important things that came out of COP26. There was a major agreement on subsidies for fossil fuels, as well as halting deforestation.
This year is the first year that the countries around the world are embarking on what's called a global stocktake. We set the goals in the Paris Climate Agreement. It is now 8 years later, our country's making progress to those goals. Do they have plans in place to achieve the goals that they've set themselves so that when you add up all their efforts, you get a global response to climate change?
The last 3 COPs have all happened in the wake of major geopolitical and economic events, and the UK has a really incredible opportunity to be a leader and a communicator in the developed world. And now we need action that actually reflects the world as it is rather than how we would like it to be. I think that's really the big focus for COP28.
This is a multi-decadal problem, and we need to maintain our efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions over that entire period. And we need models for how to think about making policy adjustment along the way without calling everything a failure. And where I think the policy conversation over the next 10, 20, 30 years is going to go is going to be less, do we have high enough ambition? And it's going to be more, do we have the right policies in place to succeed?